So we're taking a look at Arioso from chapter 5. Let's do a little analysis on an overview of this. So first of all, let's look at our key signature. We've got one flat. It ends and starts on the note F, so if it looks like an F major and sounds like an F major, then it is an F major piece. Okay. So F major. Okay. And now let's analyze it in terms of sections, because thinking in sections is a great simple way to break things up. So if I look at this, I can see, well, first of all, we've got the first system, which obviously has its own pattern. And then we have a second system, which looks different. But we also have another system that looks just like it at the very end. And then another section that looks very much like the beginning. Okay? Rhythmically speaking. So let's label these. So we'll call this A1. The second section we'll call B1 and B2. And this other part that's somewhat similar but also kind of different, you can see the rhythms are the same. We're going to call A2. So now we have this broken down into 4 segments, 2 pairs of segments. And so when we learn this, we're going to learn one segment at a time. Let's take a look at section A1. Okay. All right, so section A1, which is the beginning. If we look at the left hand, we just have 3 notes. We have F, G, E, F. Well, that's quite simple. Let's add some finger numbers to this. Lots of finger numbers you could use, but to keep it simple, we'll just put 2, 1, 3, 2, like that. So second finger on the F, thumb on G, then 3, then 2, like that. Like that. Really simple. So that's the left hand. And you can try that a couple times, really simple. Now let's take a look at the right hand. So we need to look and determine what position we're going to play this in. So if we look at the parameters, the highest note is the C, and the lowest note is this G here. So for the G, we'll use our thumb. If we use our thumb on G, that means the highest note is going to be 4th finger. So we'll be in G position. And notice we do have a B flat. We can even mark the B flat cautionary accidentals, just so that you are not likely to miss that. And let's go ahead and fill in the finger numbers. So we start on 2, 2, 4, 4, 3, 1, 1, 4, 3, 2. Now we have our finger numbers. And last but not least, let's make sure we understand the counting here. So here, we're in 2/4 time. So 2 beats per measure. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and rest. And 2 and 1 and 2 and I am subdividing in 8ths. Let's try this first system with the right hand. Starting on second finger on A, we have a B flat. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 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 simple. Let's do it again. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Once you're comfortable with the right hand, let's try it hands together. Left hand starts second finger on the F. Right hand starts second finger on A. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. repeat that, get comfortable with it. And once you've got that down, let's take a look at section A2. So again, I like to practice in sections that are similar first before we move on to different sections, okay? Just because it's faster to learn music this way. So now we're looking at section A2. Let's take a look at the finger numbers here. So again, we're looking at the range. The highest note is the D, lowest note is the G natural. So again, we're still in G position, which means we'll start on fourth finger, then fifth finger on the D, second finger on the A, second finger, third finger on the B flat. I'll go ahead and mark that B flat to remind me that we have a flat there. And then we have a B natural. I'll also mark that natural. Maybe I'll make it a different color here. Let's do a different color so it's obvious. Maybe I'll even put it over here. And then that's going to be third finger again. Now you could do fourth finger, but we're just going to use third finger again. Then 4, 1, and then you're going to use second finger on the G sharp, and then third finger on that last A. Okay. Now when you're playing something or you're looking at something, you say, and you see something that looks a bit different, it's great to just isolate that first. So for me, that would be the last two measures of the right hand here. I'd say, let's isolate that. Let's make sure that we get that. So let's try that together. Right hand is in G position, starting on third finger on the B. So we go from B up to C, then down to G, and then second finger on G sharp, and then third finger on A, like that. Let's do that in rhythm. So we have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and like this. Here we go. Ready, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and let's do that again. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and you can drill that a little bit more if you want. All right, so now let's go ahead and add the beginning. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and I'm just writing in my counting. Let's try that whole system from measure 9, right hand. Fourth finger on the C. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and rest. And 2 and 1 and 2 and let's do that again. Here we go. Ready, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and rest. And 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now let's take a look at the left hand. So the highest note is this G here, and the lowest note is this C. Well, that means that we should be in C position. Okay? So I'm going to write in my finger numbers. By writing in finger numbers, it means I can get by with doing a little less thinking. So that's what I really like about it. So if I'm in C position, that means I'm going to start with third finger on this E, second finger on the F. I'll use second finger again on the F sharp. I can even write F sharp here. Okay? You can write all over your music. Make it easy to understand. Thumb on the G, fourth finger on the second finger, third finger on the E, fifth finger on the C, and then second finger on the F. So a lot about playing the piano is thinking intervallically, thinking about finger numbers, and not necessarily always thinking about the notes themselves. Okay, so I'm in middle C position, starting on third finger on E, and if you need to write that, you can write that E right there. Say that. You can write C position if you want. Whatever you want to give yourself. Okay, just make sure it makes sense to you. All right, let's do the left hand in time. Here we go. 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. Let's do that again. So we have some syncopated rhythms because of the rests and also the tie. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. So drill that a bit. Okay. Now, when you're putting a section hands together like this, that's a little bit trickier. The best way to do it is in very small portions. Okay. So let's try just the first measure. Just this very first measure. Hands together. So left hand, third finger is on E. Fourth finger, right hand, is on C. And we're just going from the E, C, and then both hands go up one note to F, D. That's it. Get used to that feeling. E, C, F, D. Like that. Once you're comfortable with that, we can actually try it in time, and we'll take it all the way to the downbeat of the next measure and stop there. Left hand on E, right hand, fourth finger on C. Here we go. 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and stop there. Once again. Ready, and play. 1, and 2, and 1. One more time. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1. Okay. Now that we have that, check out what we do next. And this is erasing some of my finger numbers. So once we have that, now we're going to do the next measure. Like this. So right hand starts second finger on A since we're in G position. Left hand is second finger on F sharp since we're in middle C position. Okay, and the right hand goes from A to B flat. Left hand does F sharp to G, 2, 1. So it's really important to make sure each hand knows what it's doing first. And then now we can try this. So we have A, then the left hand plays F sharp, and then both hands move up a half step to G and B flat, like that. So we have 1, and 2, and. Okay, let's do this in time. Here we go. 1, and 2, and. Once again, ready, and play. 1, and 2, and. One more time. 1, and 2, and. And again, drill that plenty before you attempt to put it together. So now we're going to reintroduce the first measure. So we're going to do 2 measures now together. The first and second bars, 9 and 10. Left hand is in C position, third finger on E. Right hand, fourth finger on C, because it's in G position. Let's put it together very slowly. 1, and 2, and. 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. Once again, same thing. Left hand on E, third finger, right hand, fourth finger on C. Ready, and play. 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. And once more. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. So take your time. Do this as many times as you need to until it's fluent. You want to get to about this tempo before you move on, about the speed. 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. When you can play those 2 bars about that fluently, then you're ready to move on with this video. Next, we're going to tackle the last two measures of the system here. So let's take a look at the right hand again. We start third finger on the B. Okay. Make sure that's kind of in your mind. Left hand, fourth finger on D, since we're in C position. E, and then C, F. Right? So again, this is tricky. So we're going to just do one bar at a time. This time, we're going to start with the last measure. Now, we don't actually play this E because it's tied in the left hand, so you can cross it out if you want. So you're actually going to have this. Right hand starts on G sharp. Left hand plays C with fifth finger. And then they both resolve to F, A. Like that. G sharp, left hand plays C, and goes to F, A. Okay. Once you have that down, let's do it on time. Here we go. Ready, and 1, and 2, and once again. Ready, and 1, and 2, and review that until it's comfortable. Now we're going to do the previous measure here. Right hand goes from B, C, G, and then G sharp, starting on third finger. Left hand is on fourth finger. Okay. All right, let's try this slowly. So left hand will play D, right hand plays B. Then they both resolve up a half step or a step to E and C. Right hand goes to G, and then to G sharp. Left hand doesn't play anything because it's tied. Okay. Let's do that in time now. Left hand fourth finger on D, right hand third finger on B. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1. Once again. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1. And once you have that comfortable, then you can try putting those two measures together. Let's try. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and once again. 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and. All right. So again, work that very slowly. Take your time until you can play it fluidly. Maybe about this tempo. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. When you have that down, then you can try the whole line with me now. I'm going to do the entire line. Very slowly. Left hand starts third finger on E. Right hand fourth finger on C. Here we go. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and like that. Work that until you're comfortable, until you can play that line about this speed. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And again, you can use a metronome. Just gradually increase the tempo. Make sure that you're minimizing your errors. You want to be very accurate. When you have that down, the next step is to actually do A1 and A2 back and forth. Just do one line and then the other line and go back and forth to make sure they're very secure. So here we go. Let's try A1. Left hand starts second finger on F. Right hand second finger on A. Here we go. First line. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And now let's try A2. Left hand moves up to C position. Right hand stays in G. So now third finger on E in the left hand. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And when you can go back and forth between those lines, you know that you know the material quite well. Okay? All right. Okay. All right, so we continue to B1. Now we're doing the B1 and B2 sections. These are quite easy if we take a look at it. We're actually dealing with a scale in the right hand. So again, we're going to look at the parameter of notes. It does exceed a pentascale position. The highest note is the F here, and the lowest note is the G all the way over here. So we know we're going to have to do some hand shifts. So how do we determine when to shift? Well, what we actually want to look for is the black keys. So if I look, we have a B flat in this. We've got a B flat here in this measure. We also have a B flat here and here. Now, why are the black keys important to note? They're important to note because we don't want to use our thumb on a black key. Okay? So we know we don't want to use our thumb here. Well, if we don't want to use our thumb here, we have to figure out another finger that makes sense. If I look at this last descending portion of the scale, the highest note is D and the lowest note is G. Well, that is G minor position. Okay? So let's make that part happen. So this will be fifth finger here, then fourth, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. Now we can work backwards from this point. If fifth finger's on this D, that means second finger is going to be on the A, and it means that third finger is going to be on that B flat. Now, how do we make that third finger happen? Well, we can't do 5 on this F because we did 5. It would be 5, 4, 3, 2, and we can't cross over our second finger. But what finger can we cross over? We can cross over our thumb. So we work backwards. If the C is our thumb, then the D is second finger, the E is third finger, the F is fourth finger. That's how we determine the fingering for the right hand here. So let's try it together, starting with fourth finger on the F here. So we'll have 4, 3, 2, 1, then cross over third finger to B flat, 3, 2, then fifth finger to the D. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1, like that. Okay, let's do that again. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, crossover. 3, 2, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, and 2, and. Get comfortable until you can play it about this tempo. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And when you have it at that tempo, then we can take a look at the left hand. The left hand, the highest note is the C here and the C down here, which is an octave. So we'll want to end up with 1, 5 there. Okay? So to make this happen easily, let's just start on second finger on the A, then third finger on the G, then fourth finger on the F. like this. Okay. Let's play the left hand, and you can even write A here to just remind yourself that that's an A. In time. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Let's again. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, like that. Once you have that down, we can actually put it hands together. I'll recommend that you do it in small parts. So let's try just the last measure here. Left hand is C octave, right hand is A, G. Let's try it together. Here we go. 1 and 2 and. Do that a few times. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Once that is comfortable, let's try the previous measure now. So left hand third finger on G, then to F, right hand fourth finger on C, like that. Here we go. Ready, and 1 and 2 and. Do that again. Ready, and 1 and 2 and one more time. Ready, and 1 and 2 and. Then you can put it together with the next measure. Here we go. Ready, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Once you're comfortable there, then add the pickup. Okay, so right hand is fourth finger on C, left hand second finger on A, like that. Okay, let's do it in time. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Once again. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And now you're ready to put the whole line together. So when we start this line, go ahead and have your left hand second finger already on the A, so it's ready to go. Right hand fourth finger on F. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay? And drill that until that line is comfortable. Notice how we're always making sure to secure every section before we add a new section. Okay? You can break this up between days. You don't have to do this in one sitting or between multiple sittings in one day. Then we have the last line, B2. So we're going to do the same type of analysis here. Let's figure out the finger numbers. So if we look at the parameter, we're far exceeding the distance of an octave. It's actually a tenth. And let's look for our flats. So we have a B flat here, and that's it. So that's the only note we need to avoid our thumb on. So going from there, we'll go to the last note, which is an F. If this is a thumb, that we work backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, that works. Okay, which means that the C is probably a good place to shift to 1. Now if we're at 1 here, that would make this 1, 4, 1. However, we start on an A here, and that A means that if we were to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we would run out of fingers, and we'd have 2 thumbs at this sequentially down the scale, which does not work. Okay, that's a problem there. which means we need one more shift. Now, to keep this simple, I'm going to suggest that we start on third finger, 3, 2, 1, because you'll end up with 3, 2, 1 again. So in music, if you use fingerings that cause you to repeat your same fingerings, it's much easier to remember. Let me show you what I mean. If we are to do these first 6 notes here, starting on third finger on the A, we can do 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. See how easy that is? Because I've grouped them together. 3, 2, 1 over. 3, 2, 1. And then at that point we have 4, 1, 1, cross over to 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's the last line. Okay? So you can even mark it any way that makes it easier for you to understand. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's do the right hand for the last line. Ready and play. 3, 2, 1, crossover. 3, 2, 1, 4, 1, 1 to 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And work that until you're pretty smooth. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. And now for the left hand, we see that we have an F octave here. So that'll be 1, 5. And then we have these 3 notes here. Let's just do 2, 1, 2, 1, 3. By using 3 on this C, it'll set our thumb up on the F. So 2, 1, 3, 1, like that. And if you want, you can write some of the note names in like this. Let's do it in time. Left hand. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and get comfortable with that. Then we can put this together. We can do the same thing we did, 1 bar at a time. Last measure, just F's. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And then let's do the previous measure. Right hand starts on thumb on C, then you're going to cross over to fourth finger on B flat. So 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. The left hand will be G, then C, then F. Let's put it together. Ready? Thumbs together. 1. Third fingers together. Thumbs together. See? And that's kind of nice. Anytime you have a situation where you have consistency and fingering between the hands, it just makes life easier. 1, 3, 1 there. Let's do that again. Ready? And 1, 3, 1, and 2. And then just add in the pickup note. The C repeats in the right hand with the thumb. Left hand goes from F to G, 2, 1. Like that. Let's do it in time. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay. And once that is down, let's put that entire system together. Again, let the left hand be ready. Second finger on the F before you even begin. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, crossover, and 2 and 1 and 2 and again, drill this line until it's really comfortable. When that's the case, then you do the same thing. Go back and forth from B1 and B2. So B1, fourth finger on F, left hand, second finger on A. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Last line, right hand, third finger on A, left hand, second finger on F. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and next step will be to put the first two systems together and then the second two systems together. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit cleaner here. Took away some of the markings. All right. It was just a little congested. All right. So the first two systems and then the second two systems. Here's the first two systems. So we start off G position here. And then we're going to go 4, 1, 3 on the B flat, just the key points that we want to point out. Okay. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Then we shift up. 1 and left hand finger on second finger on A. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, so take your time, work that, get comfortable with that. When you are comfortable, then let's do the second two lines. Okay, again, key points. We're in G position, so 4, and then this will be 3, like that. Left hand, this is C position, so 3. Okay. Last line, right hand third finger on A, third finger on E, 1, 4, 1. Okay, so again, just key points for myself. Here we go. Left hand, third finger on E. Right hand, fourth finger on C. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Shift up to A, third finger. 1. And left hand shifts down, second finger on F. And 2. And 1. And 2. And 1. And 2. And. Once you are comfortable with all of these sections, slowly, then try it with me. We're going to do it slowly together. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2. Shift up. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So that's a nice slow tempo to get it to. And then over time you can work it up, and here is it played up to tempo. 1 and 2 and 1